Hello everybody and welcome to round number 4 of the 2021 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, the 52nd Rony's Tuesday Fun Race XL. Tonight we're at Fern Bay Gold in the Formula XR, and joining me, Peter Butcher, in the commentary box is Eoin Harmon. Hi Eoin.
Hi Pete, and welcome along viewers.
Preemptive apology, I'm feeling a bit under the weather, so Eoin might end up carrying me a bit tonight, but let's see if we can get this show underway. Tonight we are on round number 4 of the championship. Last time out we were at AS5, Aston Grand Prix, in the XRR. But today we're driving a single-seater for the first time in 2021 at a very, very popular track. I think it's fair to say that this is a dream combo for the driver zone.
Yeah, we'll be seeing plenty of high-speed action as well as tight hairpin turns throughout this layout at Fern Bay Gold. A 6-1 lap race. It's going to push the drivers to the limit on this Tuesday, so we'll see how they get on.
Yes, qualifying has been underway for around about 50 minutes, and we'll head to the track in just a few moments. But if you're not familiar with the car, the FOX, the Formula XR, is a 2-litre inline-4 rear-engine single-seater, and it weighs 490 kilos, so seriously light, and it has a huge amount of downforce, which means the drivers really do enjoy chucking this car around, especially around Fern Bay Gold, where we are today. So, Owen, I think it's time to go to the track and see who's currently setting the times.
Yeah, we have Rony sitting on provisional pole position on a 1:14.18, but Fragmaster Number very close behind there in second, and we have a tie for third place. Tie for third place between Ricardo and Will Lima, a 1:14.34 for them, and then another EVR driver in Veloso right behind, so it's extremely tight in this top 5 battle, and we have 13 drivers in the 1:14, so that's exceptional.
Yeah, the margin at the top, close as ever. You'd expect Number to be pretty quick around here. He's an expert in the Fox, and this is one of his favourite combos. He would have been joining us in the commentary box tonight, I'm sure, if it wasn't Fern Bay Gold in the Fox. But Rony has edged him out at the moment by only 0.08 of a second, Owen.
Yeah, I'd have to wonder, where did he find that pace? Was it through his cornering speed, or was it being able to accelerate dead on time where it mattered? That would be one to study. But with 6:43 to go, there's still going to be a big traffic jam, I'd say, unless the likes of Number and Ricardo can garner the space they need, as Number actually goes around at the turn number 6, I believe it was, just after the bridge. He lost the control of the back end in the gravel trap and has to try again.
Yeah, once again, an absolutely packed grid here for RTFR. It's been awesome to see such busy servers the last few weeks. We've currently got 43 times on the board, and only the top 40 will make it into the qualifying session. Currently, the car on the bubble is Texas, MRC's Texas, in 40th place, and Yaroslav Donnelly, along with a couple of other drivers, are trying to get into the top 40 in the last 5 minutes and 50 seconds of the session. Another strong showing by the Energy Virtual Racing drivers, as you mentioned, Owen, William Lima and Victor Veloso, solid top 5 at the moment. You'd expect to see Falas higher up than that. P7 is he's not going to be happy with that. I know it's only 29 hundredths off the pole time, but still super close times. I mean, you have to go outside the top 20 to find the first driver off a second off of the pole time.
Yeah, that is very exciting for us. We can't predict a winner. Perhaps more recent times in RTFR, we've had a class of 3 or maybe 4, and those drivers ran away with it, so we had to pick and choose between them. But here, with now at least an hour's and a bit worth of racing, we could definitely see a surprise winner.
Yes, so you have to in fact go down to P22 to Donny to find the first driver outside the 1 second barrier, the 1 second off the pole time. Seriously impressive. It is only a short track. It is only 1:14, but still great to see the close times. We're watching Road Appraiser's Paolo. He's 99 hundredths off the pole time at the moment in that lovely Alfa Romeo inspired Fox livery. His best, a 1:15.17. He's on the lap, so I wonder if he's going to improve. Still pushing. Comes up to the start-finish line, which is a fair way down this home straight. Across the line he goes, and it's not an improvement on that attempt. So possibly doing race practice during this session. He's pretty safe in the session. He's unlikely to drop down 20 places in the next 3 minutes. We're watching Unite in that Williams-inspired wonderful livery there. Over the hill section he's coming now. Remember that Unite has switched over to Gen R for the RTFR series. There is no Teams Championship in RTFR XL, but still he's representing Sidus here today.
Yeah, just there was a glimpse of Yaroslav Donalik's all pink Fox. He went for a spin at turn number 1. Thankfully, everybody avoided him, and he's carrying on. So there you are, Sidus Unite. You'll want to find those 2 extra tenths that'll get him into 6th place, maybe even a bit more. This should be a fast one. Now we're checking out Veloso's time. He's also on a beginning of a lap at sector 1.
Yeah, he's set a really, really nice lap. He's only 2 tenths off pole at the moment. I'm not sure I've seen the Energy Virtual Racing drivers drive single seaters. Maybe that's just my memory playing havoc, but I don't remember the last time I saw them driving single seaters. Someone can probably remind me. But anyway, Victor's he's about to go into the final sector now. In fact, he's in the final sector now. Just a right-hander and a chicane to go. Sorry, a left-hander and a chicane to go. Nice 180-degree tricky corner here, and then this flat-out chicane in the Fox. Part of the reason why drivers love this car is that it is full throttle through corners that you wouldn't normally expect to be full throttle. Cross start finish, and no improvement on that time.
Yeah, we're heading to 2 minutes to go now. Some of the drivers, when they finish their hot lap, they do let off the accelerator. It can mean a bit of a pile-up can emerge before the first hairpin. So at this stage, I think all drivers need to get focused and not slow down unnecessarily, because people want to exit the pit lane and the likes get their final hot laps in. So take it easy, everybody.
I'm liking all the F1 inspired liveries today, even though this isn't a Formula 1 car. It's nice to see the drivers using liveries that have been tweaked to fit the shell of the Fox. Here we're watching Michael Malik in the 2021 McLaren F1 livery. Quite nice.
Yeah, it could mean we have a few people sharing their fandoms with us, or maybe they just like a particular livery from F1 in the modern era or from the past, and they're showing it off. It'll be interesting to see if they get any more fans in the chat. So now we're into the last minute of the session. There's no way to set a time if you're not already on the circuit. So we have pole sitter Yanni Catella following Ricardo, I believe. So they'll want to avoid each other. Oh, actually, off goes one of those cars. So yeah, it is Ricardo.
Yeah, Rick in the wall. That's going to scupper his last attempt. Just unlucky to get caught up in that on the final attempt. So no chance of improvement for Rick. Looks like Number and Yoni will be on the front row. But we will find out in around about 20 seconds time plus a lap while everyone finishes their final lap. I think Climbs may... no, Climbs isn't going to make another lap. I think he's just... Oh, he might. 10 seconds to go. Might manage another lap. Yep, Climbs will make another lap. So Climbs will be the final driver across the line, unless Strutter can make it across as well. Strutter behind. Oh no, Strutter's in the pits.
Yeah, Yanni did make it with 7 seconds to go, so he just wants to solidify his pole position. Oh, that's Zdenko. That looked like a heavy accident there. Hopefully that should get him through the session. A few drivers mightn't make it. Hachiroku isn't registered, is that right?
That is correct. This might be a shake.
The last one and done.
Yeah, unless it's an out lap. I think it is a timed lap. So let's see, is it good enough to get on the board? Yeah, I think it's... Hang on, where does that put it?
15.3.
I'm not sure what's happened there, but anyway, we'll see. I don't think he made it. I don't think that was a timed lap. So yeah.
No, oh, okay, that's a shame.
The top placed ZFRL driver, Thamuli, in P20. And then the car we're watching right now, Moti Mukari, P39. And that will be it. He's backed off. That lap will be it. P39 for him. And it just looks like we're waiting for the final cars to complete their lap. And then we'll be able to bring you the full order. Okay, so everybody has completed their laps. Let's give you a full rundown of the order. Okay, so pole position went to Rony and closely followed by number in P2 for Fragmasters. Hang on. Sorry, I'm not sure why the results aren't working properly. We'll read them from the timing tower for now. Rony Catilla on pole position, number in P2, Rick Cardle P3, William Lima in P4, Victor Veloso P5, TJ for Roda Preza in P6. Then it's Fadas in P7, Race Green's Mandula P8, Unite for Sidus rounds out in P9, sorry, and Upsas rounds out the top 10 for Born to Race. Then it's Rando and Strata just outside the top 10 in 11th and 12th. Expobluski for MRC in P13, Teo Engatini P14, Yeroloco P15, Lorenzo P16, Sobis P17, Redbot P18, Yari Catilla P19, and Thamuli rounds out the top 20 for ZFRL. Paolo for Roda Preza in P21, then it's Iandoni in P22, then it's FM's Platano in P23, Ona P24, Mimv in P25, Argentina Turismo's Tino in P26. Then we've got Rony in P27, MK Tama in P28, Carolis in P29, Twin Cam P30, Cymox for 6-speed in P31, Sergeant Studenko in P32, MRC's Michael Malak in P33, Timu Soini for World Class Lions P34, Race Queen's Magic in P35, Cozzy P36, Argentina Turismo's Dante in P37, Climbs for GRT P38, ZFRL's Motim Mukari in P39, and Texas for MRC in P40. Drivers not making it in were Yaroslav Donlik, Benja M, and Alessio Ramito.
Yeah, that's hard luck to those drivers, 41 to 43rd. And they will take no further part today unless there is a vacancy opening up. But it is time to get the drivers out since we have a full server. We just need to have the commentary team and the drivers themselves involved. So it should be a very, very action-packed race for the next hour and 15 and 20 minutes maybe. Yeah, now will be the time for the drivers. They can just run around the circuit, get some maybe fuel approximations in. They'll find out how many liters need to put in the tank for the full race and that kind of thing. So just have to hang on in there for the next few minutes before the green light.
Yes, and just before the green light, we'll take a quick break and we'll be back around about a minute before the start. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to round 4 of the 2021 season of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race at Fern Bay Gold in the Formula XR. I'm joined by Eoin and Harmon. We took a quick break there. Qualifying has concluded and the race is about to get underway. Eoin, Rony and Number are going to have a ferocious battle down into turn 1. What do you think?
Yeah, their getaways have to be spot on, as any mistake will be punished by the likes of Ricardo, Will Lima, and so on. These cars are very, very quick, accelerating, so they have to know what they're doing into the first hairpin. But there will be time to make up for any slight disappointment in the first lap, so I wouldn't panic. But yeah, these two drivers, they know victories within their reach if they can get off to a good start.
Yeah, I think drivers to look out for are Rando and Strutter. They have qualified outside the top 10, but they're no stranger to the FOX and they're no stranger to long races. We are in for 61 laps of Fern Bay Gold tonight, and it's a long race, and Rando and Strutter are very, very good at long races. So don't discount them. Number, their teammate, P2, he's going to want to get away right at the beginning, and those two have got a little bit of catching up to do, thanks to their less than ideal qualifying. But yes, don't discount those guys. Moments away then from the start. Here we go, Owen.
Yeah.
Take us away for the start, please.
So our little greeting for RTFR, Let's Go Racing, on the screen now. So on the right-hand side for pole position, it's Eoin with Fragmaster Number on his left. Then we have Energy Virtual Racing just behind Number there in fourth, and Ricardo third. Just waiting for those red lights to indicate we can get racing, and then the green to let them go. So here we go, 1, 2, and the whole 3. It's go, go, go. A brilliant start for Eoin. Number has to pull inside. Ricardo does the same thing. Will Lima sticks outside. Maybe can gain an advantage there with the braking. Yeah, that's the top 5 holding. Veloso there blocking TJ nice and smoothly into the first chicane. Looking safe enough.
Yeah, looking super smooth up the field. We've got a spinner. I think that's Argentina Turismo's Tino's spun. If he can rejoin, he has. Yeah. Great getaway for Eoin.
Yeah, it's the dream start, really. Number is under pressure more than Kitilla himself. Ricardo is trying to get a bit of slipstream, braking at 60 meters for a left-hander, turn 6. Nice and composed there. Any mistakes at this particular corner, Pete, will be punished severely with those barriers and the wishbone suspension of these cars. They'll get bent out of shape in a hurry.
Yeah, also super important to keep an eye on the distance you are from the car in front, because there's a very big slipstreaming effect around that corner, and you can be forced quite wide and lose traction, especially when these tyres start to get a little bit older. A reminder that the drivers have to make a mandatory 10-second pit stop, combined 10-second time, over as many pit stops as the drivers make during the race today. But yes, 10 seconds is the minimum time. Here we've got Teo Zengatini battling side by side with Pabluski. Pabluski's running that Red Bull livery. And he holds it for now into the chicane.
A few cars are in trouble, Pete. It's Yaroslav Donnelly I'm looking at. Pabluski, oh dear.
Yeah, that's strange.
The worst place to lose it. Getting a strike in the back, I think that was what happened. I was just looking at Donnelly. His car is a mangled mess. The rear end is in like a horrible shape, so he has to just cruise back to the pit lane. And those drivers are going to get lapped in no time.
Yeah, Upsas is battling side by side with Sobis. Sobis is up to P12 now as we head through the double left.
And Jari Kitilla is getting lapped as well.
Sobis has got a run on the Teo driver. Across start finish. 3 wide we go into turn 1 actually. On the outside, that's Upsas trying to make it 3 wide. Keep it clean, guys.
Ooh.
That's a good move if he can keep it. Upsas will want to keep that line through the chicane, and they get through unscathed. Remarkable. Eoin Catilla set the fastest lap on that previous run, followed by very closely by Number. I think Number is making gains on this lap. Certainly, the gap was a lot bigger than that, I think, at the end of the first lap. But it's all as it was at the beginning in the top 5. Unite's made up. I think Unite's made up a couple of places. Yes, but yeah, the Energy Virtual Racing cars are exactly where they started, and so is Rick Cardle. TJ is right there in P6 as well.
Huge battle for 11th place, still carrying on Upsas and Sobis, with other drivers behind. Gerald Loco does make a tap, and that forces Sobis wide. Oh, and Gattini! Oh, the gap was shut instantly, and that just goes a miss, unfortunately. He's able to continue with Redbot and Twin Cam as his new rivals. Fastest lap from Fragmaster Number. Near qualifying pace there, 1:14.92. On board with Redbot now, heading into the second corner, the left-right chicane. It's flat out as you can ask for, really. Nicely done. It's very, very handy, the speedometer. Nice and clear in our view. It's up to his 5th gear, 125 miles an hour. Slight lift for downhill right. Well, he's not going to get a run on this lap anyway. He has a clear distance behind him, about 3 or 4 tenths on Twin Cam.
Yeah, this gap at the front, Owen, it's not going down. Number is really on it. I don't know whether he's trying to psych Eoin out, but he's really, really close. As we head on to the 5th lap, he may just about have a slipstream. It'll be distant, but he might have a run. Here he goes. Just a bit too far back to have a move, but yeah, that gap has come down to less than 0.3 of a second between world-class lines Eoin Catilla and Fragmaster's Number. Both of these drivers super, super talented, but my money would be on Number today. He is somewhat of a Fox expert.
He's got a big, big run.
Yeah, he still needs to make it past Eoin in order for that to hold true.
He's going to pick the outside line for turn 6. It's going to be really difficult with the gravel trap to be aware of. Eoin with Spinella on his rear wing. I can just see it on the underplate there. So we don't want any Spinellas. Ideally, there you can see it now. But so close now for Number. He's picking each and every side of the track, and Eoin has an answer for him at the minute. So you try again now. We're on board the Fragmaster for lap number 6 already. It's certainly flying in. Slipstream now surely make the difference for Number. He's got the outside. Oh, wheel to wheel. Senna and Mansell-esque. Oh, the dive is not quite going to work. You have to surrender the position now. He decides to go for it. It doesn't end in tears, but it is still Eoin Catilla in the lead. And Rick Cardle does benefit from this. He has the slipstream for turn 5 coming up now.
Feisty stuff from Number, but he's going to pay the price now. I wonder whether it would have been better off lifting before the chicane. I don't know, but anyway, he's under threat now from Rick Cardle. This gives Eoin some breathing room. Just what he needs after being caught and almost overtaken by Number. But here comes Rick Cardle. We know how quick he is. Yeah, but yeah, can he get up to the back of that car, and can he overtake? More importantly, if he did get past, can he stay there with the pace of these front two?
Yeah, there's plenty of time to go. It's barely a tenth of the way through, so no need to panic just yet. Unfortunately, a lot of drivers were scuffled in the first lap or so, and they had to pit for repairs. So we will see blue flags, and we have already seen blue flags, but there'll be more blue flags as these guys just rattle out these incredible laps within a second of each other, nearly. Ricardo now trying to set up an attack in the first sector.
I think if Rick's sensible, he won't try to get past Number. He already was lifting down the home straight. I think he'll try and work with with Number to try and catch Yoni. I think Rick's got a smart head on him in this race, so he knows that Number's got the pace. As long as Number's not holding him up, there's no real point in battling at this stage of the race. It's a long, long race. But yeah, if Number does begin to hold him up, then he's perfectly entitled to make that move.
Yeah, so we do note that the Energy Virtual teammates are 4th and 5th. They're doing their level best to keep up. Not successful so far, but as teammates, they have the best opportunity to pair up and capitalize on mistakes. And they're actually gaining a little bit on Ricardo this lap. Tank slapper out of turn 11 there for Will Lima, but he's okay. And then we're carrying into lap number 8. There we go. So we'll see how they get on. And TJ, have to give him a tip of the hat as well, holding on in there with the McLaren in 6th. And we do have Tino has disconnected from the race, so we're down to 39.
Mandula and Strutter going side by side through the chicane.
Sorry,
Mandula
35.
thinks better of it. And lets Strutter maintain that 8th place. Brando is some way off, and if we remember back to what Javko was talking to us about a few races ago, Owen, Brando may think about doing the whole thing on one set of tyres. I don't know what people's tyre strategies would be for this length of race. Tyres should last the distance, but yeah, Rando is somewhat of a tyre master, as we've witnessed here on Sim Broadcasts. One reason drivers may wish to change their tyres during a pit stop is if they want to somehow match the minimum mandatory pit stop time of 10 seconds as closely as possible, but that's a bit of a risky strategy, putting on fresh boots when you want them to be nice and up to temperature and in their perfect operating window. But I don't think we'll be seeing these front runners pitting anytime soon. Yoni Catilla's pace may be explained by the fact that he's running a lower fuel strategy. We will have to wait and see. I don't think so, though. I think that this is his ultimate, and he'll have a fair amount of fuel on board that FOX. And look at this, Owen. Number has caught back up and is in striking distance already.
Yeah, the 3 main leaders of the race all put in virtually identical lap times within a hundredth or two of each other. That is sensational. But with Number at this striking distance, I'd say we'll see Ricardo maybe benefit. You can see they're still so close. At least I can see with these good splits. They're just neck and neck, really. Just seeing in a little contact in the mid-pack there, but we're going to concentrate now on Dante in 17th, running comfortably enough with Paolo just behind and Redbot a little further. Battle I'm watching his team Soini. He's going to lose position to... Oh, maybe not. He's actually lost 2 places. That was Iron Donny benefiting massively there. Matthew McCory had went for the inside line and he missed his apex, and that meant Soini had to bail out of it entirely, and Donny was there to slip in and take 2 places.
Unless my eyes deceive me, I would say we've lost Michael Malek from this race. I can't see him anywhere on the timing tower. So the Czech honours are going to Jaroslav Donolik this week. 0.3 of a second between Yoni Catilla and Number, with Rick Cardle really, really close behind. You have to say the Energy Virtual Racing guys have dropped back a little bit. There's 3.5 seconds between the lead pair and the Energy Virtual Racing guys. But surely Number's going to be able to have a go this time. And can he make it stick? We know how good Yoni is at defence around turn 1. But yeah, Number is in a great position to strike here. He doesn't want to get it wrong again because Rick will not let him survive again. Number on the inside, the outside. He's going to try and run it deep.
Yes.
Super close. And he's made the move. That's a great move around the outside.
Now the question is, with the Sector 1 slipstream, can he hold it? Eoin has he got Rickardle away from now, about half a second. So Eoin can go for it now, get his payback. Oh, he does slip on the gravel a tiny bit. Yeah, the slightest bit of dirt on his tires, so he has to probably withdraw and let Number just give him a little bit of space, but not enough to allow Rickardle past. So that's the big move of the race so far, Pete.
Yeah, I mean, he tried it once on lap 5, I think, or lap 6, and it's
that is Rickardle there.
Yeah.
Turn number 9, and he's going for the outside as well. Done and dusted. What a move. And
but
in the space of a minute,
really close.
It's all gone wrong for poor old Eoin.
Yeah, Eoin's really close to the back of Rick. I don't know whether Rick should have left that a bit later. Let's see how Rick's defense works. Eoin's going to try and repay the favour. He's going to try and go around the outside like Number and Rick did to him. And it just hasn't worked there, Eoin. Rick's held it on the inside. Eoin back to P3. This is allowing Number to get that gap he needed.
Yeah, crucial moment in the race. One we'll look back on if things remain as they are. We do have one driver. He spent 2.5 minutes repairing his car. That's Sergeant Stadenko, way back on lap number 8 now, so he's 4 laps down, and I suppose he just wants to play for pride now. He's let everybody through who needs to let through, so that's going to be a long effort for him to try and get anything out of this race. Back to the top 5 now. We've Will Lima, separated from his teammate and also from TJ, who was looking feisty a lap or 2 ago, and maybe he's just felt, I'll withdraw my best efforts a little bit and get the tires into peak condition for another attack later on. Yeah, it's really up to these 5 guys, or 5 or 6 guys, really to be competing for the podium. But the top runners are still super fast, and low 1 minute 15s for them compared to mid 1:15s for the others.
Yeah, it's a properly competitive top of the field here, even down to P10, you have to say. I mean, Rando will be playing it long. Strutter, he's making his way through the field now. He's going to be catching up to the back of TJ at this rate. Well, he'll want to anyway. We're watching Unite, who similarly is on a bit of a charge, although I think he's lost a position to Strutter at some point. So yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on how this develops. Still a long way to go. 13 laps. We're on the 13th lap of 61. In the background there, it's Mandula coming under a bit of pressure from Rando.
Yeah, there's a battle for position between Climbs and Rony for 20th and 21st. Climbs was the beneficiary through an overtake at turn 1. And Rony's car looks similar to a clownfish out of Finding Nemo.
Oh, we've got to
investigate further for confirmation.
Sobis has got a huge
Sobis has a problem, a big problem. That's rear suspension.
Yeah, that's been through a tyre wall at the chicane, I think. That's why that car is super damaged. That'll be going in the pit lane for hopefully his one and only stop. It hopefully won't cost him too much. Probably 30 seconds more than his mandatory 10 seconds. But it does look like a lot of damage, so
he has to turn left to go straight with the toe and the suspension bending towards the left. Stadenko has to pull over to even let him by. That's how difficult his race has been. So there you go. Sobis into the pits.
Rick Cardle is not letting Number go. The gap is still under a second, or it was at the last split. We'll see what it is when they cross over the split here. But Eoin, is 2 seconds off of Number now. So about a second separating all 3 of the leaders. And in fact, that gap goes up a little bit in the middle sector for Number. Thilo Falkenberg has provided us with some interesting trivia, Eoin. I'll start off with the first load. Thilo says that 122% fuel should be enough for the race distance. So a full tank plus an extra 23% should make you the distance. Tyre change should not be needed, but if you don't change your tyres, they will be getting pretty cold towards the end.
Yeah, that's very well observed. But for the car itself, the Fox has been run on the RTFR XL 3 times, but the last time that was way back in the 16th edition. That was won by Lucas Baum Rosenbauer. It had 9 starters and 8 finishers. But this combo, Fernbay Gold, hasn't been raced in either RTFR or RTFR XL before. And then the track itself, or the combo of Fox and Fernbay, I should say. The track itself has been used in RTFR XL twice in the past. Recently was Sidus, who won the 50th edition. We had that broadcast on Sim Broadcasts, if you remember, not too long ago. It was last month or the month before. So yeah, Rick Ardle was the winner that time.
Thanks for that, Eoin. We're watching the rear wing of Mando, who's being caught by Upsas. He was passed by Rando not long ago. Rando up to P9, and now Mandula defending from the Born to Race driver up towards the first chicane. No room to overtake here if you're behind. And then you've got to be really brave to attempt to pass around this flat out high downforce section. But you're better off sitting in the slipstream, staying back a little bit, and trying to go for the move on the bridge, which is coming up just now.
Oh,
and he's lost it in the wall.
That's the pirouette of doom, unfortunately. The gravel is just going to pitch the car around and just pass. Has to let Yeroloco past.
So instead of seeing a masterful overtake, we saw a rather spectacular accident onto the bridge. That's not how to do it. Hopefully Upsas can get that car repaired. It will need a repair. I think it went hard into the wall. He might have got away with it, but it's going to be uncomfortable to drive it for the hour or so we've got left.
Yeah, there is upper and lower suspension damage, but it's only about 10%, maybe 15% of the damage bar. So he decides, yeah, that's too much, I'm going to pit.
I am amazed at how close the top 4 or top 3 are at the moment. Still less than 2.5 seconds between the top 3 after 17 laps racing.
Yeah, it's still going to play out as we go on. So you could maybe stay the way it is. Strutter is going for a pass here against TJ. So we haven't really mentioned Strutter that often, but his lap times have been really strong. So it must have been his qualifying that let him down. So maybe he can actually give the Energy Virtual Racing guys a bit of a headache.
Yeah,
he's very even with them.
Don't discount Strusser. He started just outside the top 10 and now he's in P6 and he looks solid. Like I said, very, very experienced Fox driver and only 8 seconds off the lead. However, the lead is his very fast and very experienced teammate Number, which won't, well, it might make him happy, but if he wants the win, probably not.
Yeah, he's usually very proud of his team, but today I'd say his focus is purely on himself to get this victory and break the stranglehold we've seen from Sidus and World Class Lions so far this season throughout the RTFR and RTFR XL.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, it's worth mentioning that these FM guys, of which we've still got 4 left in the race, they are obviously the organisers of the Fragmasters Fox Friday, so they're seriously used to coming up with the best strategies for longer races in the Fox. So I'm sure whatever they've got planned, it's going to shuffle them up the order regardless. Obviously, Number can't get any higher unless he drops the car and has to regain places, but yeah, through the pit stop and through the strategy, you should expect to see the FM names that are lower down the list climbing up a bit, you'd say.
Yeah, and we do have cars pitting. Should be strategic stop for some of these guys, such as Climbs, Carolus, and Minva. They're all pitting out of choice rather than damage. I'll just see how much fuel they take. Maybe some drivers have picked up damage. Yeah, just probably slight damage. So they've got their minimum mandatory pit stop in, and they can go to the end. And they do emerge out of pit lane with some of the top guys passing them by. Thankfully, they stayed in their lane until the yellow blend line came to an end. But Sidus Unite is one of those guys who's going to be cursing his luck, emerging onto the first hairpin when traffic has appeared. On board with our race leader number now. Lovely T-cam shot here. You can see the driver's arms at work there, and now onto the suspension. Looking good now. Should take turn 7 nice and smoothly. Yeah, he's got those apexes down to a T, and that just gives the other drivers the standard to meet. You can see just how smooth number is on the wheel, keeping it nice and gentle, not overexerting himself at all.
No, and he's brought that gap up to nearly 2 seconds over Rick Cardle now, and Rony is dropping back even further. 3 seconds now the gap. So number has checked out. He's found some unreal pace, and Rick and Rony are struggling a little bit to maintain the lightning pace set by number at the moment. He still retains the fastest lap of the race. Yeah, let's see if Rick can get this car any closer to number. Of course, number may be running lower fuel. We don't know. We are purely speculating here. If he's running lower fuel, obviously he will be, well, he should be theoretically quicker during the first stint because the car's lighter.
Trouble. Minva has lost control out of the second chicane, and it was the who was it? Was Carolus 66 who just met him during his spin. He had to go onto the grass just to get away, and it's just getting worse and worse for Minva. He's decided to spectate, and Fat Ass is also pulled out of the race, so we're down another list of drivers now. Have to get the number. 32 remain, so that is a rough job. We're not even a third of the way through, and we're down to 32 drivers.
Well, we've lost an FM driver, Santi Sarah, so that's a bit of a shock. We're watching the rear wing of William Lima, and the reason for that is that Strutter is gaining quite quickly on him. He's dropped TJ by quite a considerable margin, and he's really gaining on the rear wing of this Fox. I reckon it's going to be maybe a lap or two before this move is made. Strutter clearly with superior pace, the Brazilian.
Yeah, that lap, or this battle could certainly emerge in the next lap or so. The way Strutter is driving. If I can keep an eye on the gap. Just see what it is. Crossing the 100-meter board, it's about a second. So Strutter is gaining. Yeah, so he has gained about 3/10 now, as we'll see. But actually, Lima did a much better second split, so that should keep him safe for a little bit. Using as much of the bonus tarmac there out of the 9th corner.
Bonus tarmac, I like that.
Yeah,
track limits aren't enforced here.
Yeah, no track limits, but
bonus
it does feel like
here.
It's generous. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. This gap is remaining pretty solid at the moment between these two. Hasn't deviated for 2 sectors, really. Give or take half a tenth. We'll stay on board with Strutter because I'm sure William Lima is going to start to sweat a bit, and we've seen drivers who get into a bit of a sweat, making some errors. But you can see how much TJ's dropped back from Strutter, even though, yeah, Strutter's going to have target fixation now. He's really going to want to catch up to the back of that Energy Virtual Racing car. But as soon as you lose kind of the wheel tracks of the car in front, it is sometimes really difficult to find or maintain the pace that you had while you were in a battling pack. And I think TJ has fallen into that a little bit. Almost 2 seconds the gap now. Let's see if Strutter can get a good exit and get a run on the home straight. I don't think he's close enough. So William Lima is certainly going to live to fight another day.
Yeah, I'd equate that to if you're practicing your golf swing, you can do it as much as you like with empty hands, but then when you actually have the club in your hands, you can actually feel the technique through your body. So this must be what you're describing, Pete. Once that target is out of the way, it doesn't feel the same.
Yeah, also kind of similar to, well, it's almost the opposite of muscle memory.
Yes.
Number leads from Rick Cardle in second, then Yoni Catilla's dropped back a little bit. These top three are still relatively close, only 3.2 seconds separating them. Victor Veloso is another 3 seconds behind, but still well within target distance if one of the top three gets something wrong later in the race. Then we've got William Lima in P5 for Energy Virtual Racing. The top five are the same top five as we had at the beginning. The only cars that are, in fact, none of the cars are in the same order, I don't think. I think Victor's got past William at some point. Strutter in P6 is still on the back of William. Then we've got TJ in P7. Unite in P8 for Sidus. Rando for FM, Fragmaster in P9. Race Queen's Mandula rounds out the top 10, and he's got a little bit of traffic to contend with ahead of him. That's Sobis, who we saw have a bit of a wobble earlier, or in fact he had a wobbly car from a previous incident, either an excursion through the tyre wall at the first chicane or the barriers through turn number 7. And Sobis runs onto the grass for our entertainment. Hopefully you can get that back.
Yeah, he has to wait
without
for
causing
these
any
three
trouble.
cars to pass.
And he's retired.
Yeah.
So another retirement. That brings us down to 30 cars, Owen. Quite the race of attrition. 23 laps gone. We're on the lap 24, and we're down a quarter of the field. That's quite the attrition rate, especially for such a popular car at a popular track. You wouldn't expect it to be that low, especially with the amount of unforced errors we've been seeing.
Yeah, I totally agree. But I suppose different drivers have different objectives for the race. So if Sobis went off and was feeling like, I can't get my target of, let's say, 15th, he just decides, no, I can't continue. Whereas other drivers are just happy to keep going and maybe get more race practice under their belts and see if they can make it to the end, even though they're 5 or 6 laps down. So if we have another 5 or 6 drivers leave, that will certainly make life perhaps easier for the leaders, but be disappointing for our viewing perspectives. We'd like to see as many drivers make it as possible. We do have Carolus and Redbot not too far away from each other. Euroloco would just be the driver in front of them, so we can move back to Redbot on the pursuit. We'll just see if Carolus has the right racing line here, but it does feel like Redbot is the quicker driver. He does clip that gravel trap.
Yeah.
And he has a car he must merge. It's Ingatini, who is 12th at the moment.
Yeah, he's a lap ahead, so Redbot will have to
Ingatini wants to be allowed through. Yeah. So Redbot's his momentum is ruined for this lap. But with Carolus needing to be ordered to move aside as well, maybe he'll get it his way next lap. Climbs is in trouble, Pete. Climbs has gone sideways.
Oh, careful with the rejoin, Climbs.
Yeah, that corner ruined him, I think, the last time we visited Fern Bay. I remember he should have been a top 10 caliber driver, and a mistake on the reverse of this track. It cost him extremely heavily, and it looks to have done the damage again. Damage is fine. There's no damage to report. Just needs to calm the clutch temperature a little bit. It's about 5%. So
yeah, it looks like it was a straightforward spin, no contact, hopefully, for Climbs.
And Strutter, I must have missed that he has overtaken Will Lima.
It has happened. Okay, we missed it. Apologies for that. Yes, that must have been this lap or the lap before. I was too. Oh, hang on. Number's pitted. So Number was running a low fuel strategy. That is a surprise. I've got to be honest. So this is crucial. He had a 2-second lead over Rick Cardle, and every single lap that Number does now, he's going to be losing a lot of time because he's on a lot higher fuel load. I don't think he's changed tires, so he'll have the same tires he had, but he's going to be a lot slower because of the fuel that he's got on board. That just depends. If Rick has full fuel as well, it should balance itself out. But let's see. Number pits and resumes in P number 9. While you were talking about climbs, I was focusing on the battle between Rick and Eoin, Owen. That gap is down to less than a second. So Eoin, it looks like he switched something on. Yeah, down to 8/10 now. So I reckon those two will be getting pretty close pretty soon.
Well, if those Fragmaster guys are communicating with each other, you could speculate that Rando gave his teammates some intel, saying if you pit on this lap and you get your 10-second stop in, you'll emerge in clean air. So that's one positive for Numbers gamble. He doesn't have lap traffic to worry about.
The gap to Rick Cardle down to 7/10 of a second for Yannick Tiller now. He really is taking chunks out of the Dutch driver. We'll get an update as he comes over the brow of the hill here to the sector time, and it's gone up a bit. So yes, they're trading tenths, but still very close for the lead here in RTFR round 4 of 2021, the 52nd Rony's Tuesday Fun Race XL. Rick Cardle leads after Number pitted for fuel. Rather earlier than we would have expected, just less than halfway through the race. And interestingly, Mandula is in just behind Number in P10, so anybody who pits now will probably come out around about where Mandula is in a battle with him and downwards. So the likes of Mandula, Yaroloco, Engatini, Paolo, Rony, Simox, and Dante.
Yeah, if that's what happens. Yeah, that would certainly make reasonable pleasure. But I think these other cars want to go as far as they can, and we'll see if that pays off. TJ is gaining quite a lot on Will Lima. It's not quite enough to make his overtake opportunity, but with Strutter ahead of these guys, it might be opportune time to really apply that pressure. So in these corners, there's not much you can do. It's all about maintaining that rear end stability. But yeah, it is a close call between these two drivers. Half a second. Oh, Lima perhaps braked earlier than I expected for the corner, but no problems. Strutter could be maybe holding back on his full potential. I'll just see what these lap times are as they cross the line. Yeah, so Lima is the quickest by about 400ths this lap by, and TJ was a little slower. But we'll keep an eye on this one as it progresses.
Yeah, it's remarkable how close these three are. Sorry, Owen.
Yeah,
because Strutter made pretty easy work in the end of Will.
Yeah, I was just going to say Jaroslav Donadik has to make way for our race leaders. He's on lap 28, so he's now 2 laps down. But after his first lap incident, it's still good to see him plugging away. Yeah, he did the right thing, getting out of the way at turn number 10, I think it was.
Got a battle between Carolis and Platano. Platano there defending his place in the top 20. And after pitting, I don't know whether Platano's pitted, but Carolus certainly has. And spicy little battles up and down the field.
Carolus did have a bad entry, and you can see his rear end is stepping out, and that could give Platano the opportunity he needs to make this overtake. Slipstream effect should now kick in. Platano will pick a side. He goes inside. Carolus didn't want to squeeze him out of the position, but he can use the camber of the first hairpin. But now someone has to back out or hold their peace, and it is actually Platano. So good driving there. He thought, okay, I thought I had it, but fair play. I'm going to reward my opponent this time around for his courage. But Redbot and Yargitila are just behind them on the track in 22nd, 23rd, so he can't be any more generous to Carolus. Rickardle pits, Pete. Rickardle pits.
Okay, so he's serving his 10-second stop now. Let's see where he comes out in relation to Number. He would have had slightly more fuel on board for the start. Where is Number? Number is coming across start-finish line. It's going to be very close between these two, but I think Number... Oh, wow, he hasn't managed to overthrow Rick. So Rick is back in the lead, net lead of this race. Now Eoin needs to drive the laps of his life if he wants to get in front of Rick, and then it'll be a complete reversal of the order. That's a great overcut, I suppose, for Rick Cardle. Not very often you see those.
No, it's kind of gone out of fashion, but it still works when you're a very, very talented driver.
Number's going for the move. He doesn't want to stay behind Rick for very long. Rick's giving him the place, actually. I was expecting him to put up a little bit more of a robust defence there. But he's made that quite easy for Number, I would say. And now Number gets to just run away again. So 6 seconds off the lead. 6 seconds to unite now. But everyone ahead of these two are yet to pit. So this is the battle for the net lead of the race. Number in P7, Rick Cardle in P8. Wonder when Rony will come in. He's clearly
just lapping Katama. That's handily enough there just before turn 3. But any more traffic in I think there is one more car to mainly worry about on this next 3 or 4 minutes. But yeah, if any more cars get in the way, by circumstance, he will want to consider a pit stop and maybe recover from there.
Yeah, so we need to keep an eye on Eoin's laps and compare those to those of Number. You've got to think that Eoin had more fuel in the car at the start, which is remarkable, really, when you consider his pace. He did drop back a bit, which may explain. But let's see when he pits. He might be leaving it quite late, but he's in the overall lead. Victor Veloso is some 5 seconds behind. So he's pretty much guaranteed a podium unless anything goes wrong for him. Cross start finish, Rony goes to start lap 34 of 61 here. 52nd round of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large, the 4th round of 2021, here on Sim Broadcasts. Rony Catilla's got a bit of traffic to deal with here, Eoin, and not a very fun place to meet traffic, this high downforce section. Hopefully, I think that's Dante. Get out of the way.
Energy Virtual Racing's Veloso has completed a pit stop and is in 9th now, so he's actually behind Mandula for position. But FM Number and Rickardle are safely away, so they would have been horrified to see Veloso had gained on them. But as a matter of fact, he's 3.4 seconds behind Number.
Yeah, and I think Eoin was held up slightly in the corners before the bridge. We'll find out when we get Strutter's split time. It definitely looked like he had to lift out of it, and Dante let him through on the home straight. He didn't lose much, but the gap's come down a 10th to Strutter. Tenths don't help you when you're in a battle that spans only a couple of tenths, with 2 of the fastest drivers currently racing in Live for Speed today. Flagmaster's Number holds the net lead, having pitted first and overtaken Rick Cardle, who pitted second of the top runners. Rick has dropped back over a second now to Number, so Number's really just on it at the moment. As Strasser is in the pit lane as well. He will rejoin in P9.
Yeah, that's perfectly acceptable. He'll start to gain from TJ, who's running longer. But just to briefly point out, Minva has disconnected from the server, and that leaves us to 29 runners out of the 40 who started. Ingatini has a drive-through penalty. He must have just completed a pit stop.
Yeah, he's just been down the pit lane, and he'll have to go down it again to serve that. The Fox doesn't have a pit lane speed limiter. The drivers have to modulate that manually, or by running an adjusted gear ratio, which is a popular technique. Which redlines the car.
Yanni's in real trouble here. Dechef Mooley has actually moved over nice and safely, but waits until this very last moment to yield, and that would have been frustrating because Dechef Mooley, his maneuver away from those two faster cars could have surprised climbs and therefore would have put Yanni on the brink of a crash. But yeah, just anger, I think, has emerged for Yanni. But from now on, he just has one more car to clear within about 3 or 4 seconds, and then he'll be clear. But that has proven very costly. It's still a good sector by any standard of 47.43, sector 2. Watching with delight could be, yeah, oh, he clipped the curb. Number would be delighted, and he could take advantage with the situation. We'll just see what his time appears to be. Yeah, 47.55. So that's an actual deficit, but I suppose Yanni really needs these fast laps now, but he can get them.
So yeah, Yanni coming under a bit of trouble with back markers, which around a tricky track like this is something you have to kind of just accept happens. It's not often easy for the back markers to jump out of the way, especially when there's one racing line through most of the high-speed corners, especially through the chicanes where Yanni unfortunately met a couple of drivers. This is the time of the race where he really needs to have clear track ahead of him, and as Eoin mentioned, there is only one car ahead, and I think it's Sobis. In fact, it can't be Sobis because Sobis isn't in the race anymore.
It's C-Max. It's actually C-Max who's about to be lapped.
Yeah, so a similar livery, the 6-speed livery.
That's a fantastic lap there for Yanni, a 1:14.5. That's about as good as you're going to get in the race conditions. It's put 4 tenths on Will Lima and even TJ. And we'll see how that compares for the drivers he expects to compete with on the... yeah, so 2 tenths better than Number and 4 tenths better than Ricardo. So that's the kind of performance Yanni needs to put in now. Yeah, he's definitely going for a peak.
Yeah, I'm just waiting in anticipation for when he's going to pit, and well, I'm reluctant to keep watching him because it could be a while. He seems very comfortable out there. We'll watch him go past the pit entry before we watch something else, just in case he goes in. But yeah, he drives past the pits to start lap 39.
In fairness to Mandula in 7th, he's actually within a few tenths of Ricardo, and that would definitely spoil his strategy. He can't afford to battle with him, really. That will cause him all kinds of headaches. And if he just decides to yield and let him through, that would mean he'd be stuck in the dirty air for another little while anyway.
Yeah, you don't want to
This is
be.
the
If you haven't
spanner in
pitted,
the
you
works.
don't want to be battling with cars who've already pitted ahead. So this is a disaster for Mandula at the moment. Yeah, he really doesn't want to be battling with Rick, and Rick doesn't really want Mandula in his rear view mirror.
Yeah, good stability in turn number 5 there. And you can feel that slipstream is going to hit 7,500 RPM. Just backs out at the last moment. And he's really, really pressuring Ricardo.
Yeah, he's telling him to get a move on, or else I'm going to send
that's
it.
Sorry, got a heart attack for a sec.
Don't have a heart attack on me, Eoin.
No.
Yeah, Mandula really needs to keep a cool head. By sending it on Rick there, it threw Rick off a little bit and slowed them both down. He either needs to commit to that move or sit behind. Make it obvious to Rick what his intentions are.
Yanni must be in peak fuel load now. His fastest lap. Yeah, precisely 114.45. So he's got everything the way he wants it to be. It's just the lap traffic is the trouble. It can never be factored into the majority of strategies. He just has to deal with it as it comes. But he's definitely gaining when he needs to on number, so he can give himself the chance to emerge in the lead after the pits. And Dula again thinking about a move, but he's not going to lunge from that far back. But Mandula's execution of turn 6 is very easy on the eye. Ricardo is on the ragged edge, trying to repeat his work on the tires. And another fastest lap from Yanni at 114.38.
That's incredible pace. He must be getting to the end of his fuel. Well, I've been saying that for the last 10 laps, so maybe it's not. As Mandula pits, he's had enough of following Rick. Nice to put the car in the pit lane on lap 40. That's his 10-second mandatory stop taking place now. Be interesting to see how far down the order Mandula rejoins. Strutter's got past him.
Yeah, I'd say he should be ahead of Yerloco coming out of the pits, as Yerloco had to lap Platano. Yeah, Mandula has actually got cars he needs to re-lap. He's just emerged behind Magic in a footwork arrows inspired livery. You can just see the sort of not quite polka dot, but definitely the ribbon style livery there.
Confetti style.
Yeah, confetti, exactly, yes. It's definitely footwork arrows style, but I'm not sure if it's actually footwork arrows. So now you need to catch back up to Magic and put him another lap down. Lima has pitted as well. Just keep an eye. Yeah, and so actually TJ is in front of him, yes.
Yeah, so TJ and Lima pitted. TJ is ahead.
And I mentioned Yerloco just a moment ago, and actually Paolo wants to take 11th place away from him in his Alfa Romeo, and it's probably the best chance he's had in a while. Rony won't be contesting anytime soon for that position unless something goes dramatically wrong. You see those drivers behind him, Platano and Iron Donny, are not competing for this position. Very good exit out of the chicane for Paolo. Another fastest lap for Yanni. He's going to be catching up to these guys shortly if he doesn't need to pit.
Paolo played it safe there. He dropped down a gear, reduced increased the distance so that he'd have a good run into this left-hander here. He's sold him the dummy, and he's forced Neuroloco onto the grass with an unforced error. So Paolo up to P11. Great move.
Oh, Neuroloco has caused a yellow flag. He's off into the grass. I'll need to check his damage. Yeah, he's got a very high bar. The one that doesn't have any writing next to it, the vertical bar. Very damaged on the right hand side. The shock absorber has nearly 100% damage on it. That could require a pit stop, but he decides not for the moment. That's a real moment of angst for Neuroloco.
Yeah, he's got Rony behind him now. Rony started way down the order and he's up to P13, and well, you'd be a fool to bet against him getting P12 now that Neuroloco has written one corner of his car off.
Oh, and Iron Donny's lost control in between turns 2 and 3, and he's disconnected from the race. He could have continued, but again, it seems to be the pattern of the day. Some drivers feel their cause is lost and they want to disconnect or something along those lines. So we're down to 28 runners.
Here comes Rony. He's trying to go around the outside of Neuroloco, and Neuroloco, even with one quarter of his car not attached to the road properly, is still going for a bit of a defence, and in fact he may even retain it if he's... Well, that's actually impressive to hold it side by side around there. But Rony has the inside, and well, Neuroloco's just said, alright, if you're not going to commit to the inside, I'll drive around you on the outside. That's impressive.
And there was just a blue buzz in the background there, flash of Yannick Cattilla's tone of pain, so he will be lapping these guys soon. Rony on the inside now of Neuroloco. And that should be... Oh no, contact! And if Yanni has any helpers in his ear, they'll be telling him these drivers are going hammer and tongs, and the pit stop may have to come ASAP to avoid a collision.
Well, finally he's made the move, and soon he'll be yielding to the current race leader. And I wonder, with all the traffic ahead of him and the drivers that are in that bunch, whether Yanni will be thinking about making a pit stop. It looks like he's pretty committed to whatever strategy he's on, because he's come under trouble with some back markers as there is a battle going on between TJ and William Lima. William Lima all over the back of TJ. These two have been scrapping for quite a while. And that's Victor Veloso just up ahead, who is also pitted as Lima gets a bit of a tank slapper out of the chicane. It does look as though Yanni is doing everything he needs to do to maintain his lead when he comes out of the pits. The gap to number has gone up 4 seconds while I've been watching. The gap is, going up and up and up.
Magic made some sort of error in the last lap, so that means a free overtake for Yanni in his battle to lap more drivers. Redbot was able to yield before turn 1, so that's all fine and dandy. It's Neuroloco next. Platano has pitted for the second time. He's one of the remaining Fragmaster drivers, but he's in 23rd.
And interestingly, because Unite hasn't pitted yet and he's some 18 seconds behind our race leader, I reckon Unite is going to finish, or he's going to come out between Strutter and Rando, somewhere in that gap. So Strutter will have made the jump on Unite, if my calculations are correct, and Yanni should come out ahead of Number if he pits without having any trouble with back markers. Unite's someone we haven't focused on for a while. He's kind of been driving on his own for quite a while. He's in a bit of a bubble. He's got 18 seconds ahead to Yanni and 8 seconds behind to Number. And the only thing he's had to deal with is traffic and making sure he stays on the road. But I don't think it's going to be enough. He's in a direct race now with Strutter.
Yeah, I'd say top 10 of some description would be a job well done for Unite today. I just haven't quite seen him at his best. Maybe the other driver's just stronger, so he does make his pit now. There'll be no repeat of Nigel Mansell 1986 Australian Grand Prix. he pits before the tyres go.
Yeah, I think Strutter's going to be out well ahead of him. It just depends where Rando ends up. Number goes through. Strutter's going to be well on his way by the time Unite leaves the pit lane. Unite's got his pit stop wrong during RTFR XL before. It actually looks like that's actually impressive. He's got out ahead of Strutter. Just,
yeah. That was a very respectable approximation.
It was very wrong.
Certainly couldn't have done that well. Did prove to be wrong, but wasn't extremely wrong. Here's a chance for Strutter to counter-attack now that Unite has pitted for fuel and wheels as well.
But yeah, look at this train now from P8 through to, is that TJ leading this train? Oh, in fact, Victor's leading this train now. So yeah, we've got a 6-car, 5-car train here, which is excellent to see at the dying stages of this race. So anything can change from P4 to P8. It's pretty much written at the front. We just need to see when Rony hits. The gap is up another second. The number, he's absolutely on it. Absolutely on it is Rony. So it should be a splash and dash. He'll have to hold the car because the fuel will go in quicker than the mandatory 10-second stop. So he'll have to time it himself. So there's room for human error there, Eoin, when you do it yourself.
That's certainly a factor, yeah.
Let's go on board with our race leader. See where he's making this time.
Yeah, power slide in action there.
Yeah, no love lost for the tyres, certainly. Sweet line over the final chicane, and yet again, a trip around the pit lane. We begin lap 49. 13 laps to go here.
Good timing. It is a new fastest lap of 1:14.22. So we caught the fastest driver at work.
Yeah, Rony is so super smooth. He's schooling number a bit here. His own game, has to be said. But yeah, Rony is extremely talented and very, very much an all-rounder. Masterful in the XRR and the other GTRs, and putting on a display here in the Fox today. Completely different discipline of racing. But it'll still be close after the stop. You never say never in these races. Anything can happen. Back markers, errors in the pit stop, errors unforced. Very smooth lap this from Rony.
Yeah, he really is aggressive with those curbs, and they don't punish him. They're probably terrified of him. And he runs another extremely strong lap of 1:14.23, so just shy of that benchmark he set himself. But that is consistency of the grandest order. It's so reliable lap times from him now. And to give Sergeant Stadenko a bit of more airtime, he's technically overtaken MK Tama, but he's 3 laps further back against his nearest rival. So he's given them a little bit of a warning signal, saying, even though you're going to beat me today, I will see you again soon, maybe. But he has to actually now get out of numbers away, or else that'll probably decide the race.
Something's happened at the front. I'm not sure what happened, but Veloso is down the order. Down to P6 now.
Yeah, his teammate is... he's got a decision to make now. His teammate is not going to be able to counter-attack the slipstream. Oh, he's going to counter-attack with his tyres, nearly forcing his teammate into the wall. Oh, and that compromises his entry for turn 6. So maybe these two have dealt themselves a busted flush here, with Silas Unite ready to pounce.
Yeah, you don't want to battle with your teammate this hard. I mean, it's a fun race. Maybe you do. We have 10 laps to go. Once Rony crosses the line, I think he's already done. Sorry, 11 laps. And United's going to make swift work of Victor here if he pulls back into the slipstream early enough. I think he's left that a bit too late. Maybe not. Yes, definitely too late. I have noticed that William's been going very sideways out of the chicane every lap. Let's see if he makes it this time. Yes, William, 2 cars ahead of Unite, the car we're on board with, getting the chicane right this lap. But yeah, Veloso dropped down the order. He was currently leading this train, I think.
Race leader crosses the line to mark 10 laps to go now, and his teammate Teemu Soini is now ready to move aside. No problems there between the world-class Lions.
Yeah, and the gap's almost up to 30 seconds. Look, so after Rony pits, it'll be day and night between number. But he's still got to do it, and he's still got to not mess it up. So no pressure, Rony. You've literally got... You could walk around the last lap. So don't go too easy, but yeah, don't push too hard either. Rony Katilla, 10 laps to go. Fastest laps after fastest laps. After they were held early on by Number, who had less fuel on board at that point in the race. But since Number has refueled and put a bit more weight in the car, Rony has just come alive in this high fuel run. At this rate, he's going to have to pit. I mean, it's 122% for the race. I'm not sure. Quickly do the maths on that. 2% a lap. Yeah, he's going to need to pit now to make it. Rony should be in the pits now. Here he goes.
Yeah, nicely played. And now this is the big moment.
Here we go. This is the decider. Where is Number? Number is not even at the final complex of corners. So Rony is going to be out so far ahead. Yeah, he's already moving.
0.35 second stop.
So we'll only get an accurate update of the gap at the first sector.
My LFS tells me the gap is 10.75 seconds.
Yeah.
Rony may have lost a little bit more time getting to speed.
Yeah, we'll only get an accurate reflection at the sector because Number had massive overspeed across start finish. But yeah, Rony, what a display.
Yeah, 7.92. That was all down to Rony's strategy. He knew he could bang in those fast laps, and Number had no response as he had to rebuild his peak temperatures on his tires. And it's all down now to keeping calm and finishing the job that he started.
Yeah, the closest battle on track is between P4 and P6, between the Energy Virtual teammates and TJ, who's currently leading this train in the 2021 McLaren F1 livery. Very nice.
Rony has made his pit stop, so he went very long this time as well. Yeah, 10.48 seconds. And he drops 2 places. But it's Paolo, not too far behind.
A lot of positions gained for Rony in this race, though. Qualified outside
he's
the top 20.
Probably been the highest climber, yeah.
One of, yeah, certainly. So yes, look at the gaps between what is it, P5 and P8 now. Super close. Nothing to choose between those guys. That's going to be a battle to the death, I think. It's already changed up a couple of times in the last few laps, with Veloso dropping down the order slightly. But this could go anywhere. I think Unite has kind of lost his chance to get past Veloso. He was very tentative trying to get past him. Wasn't really sticking into draft down the home straight when we watched him last. But yeah, Strutter, currently P8, started P11. And I think he would quite fancy getting past Unite. What do you reckon, Owen?
Yeah, sure, it would be desperate to get past Unite. be a signal of intent for the team, Fragmasters, to have 3 of their drivers in the top 10. And if they can beat a Sidus guy in the process, that'll be even better. Oh, and speaking of Fragmasters, Platano running in 21st loses the back end at the final chicane, and luckily I think it would have been Strutter battling away. He's thankful his teammate didn't get stopped on the racing line, and Platano picks up and dusts himself down to try again. Yeah, that would have been a scary moment, seeing your teammate skidding towards the wall.
Even though Yoni's been in the pits, that he hasn't decided to slow down. He's actually setting better and better times again. The gap up to 8 seconds ahead of Number, and then a further 5 seconds back to Rick Cardle in third. So a very solid few rounds for Rick Cardle, and a great showing again for Yoni Casilla. And good to see Number enjoying himself in a race.
Yeah, he was dead set on playing this round since it was announced, so he will be pretty satisfied to finish second as things stand.
Yeah, TJ needs to make that car as wide as possible in these last laps if he wants to retain his 4th place. He's got pressure from the Energy Virtual Racing teammates behind, but TJ is a cat amongst the pigeons. Owen. He's worked his way up into the top 5, and he's displaced both of the Energy Virtual Racing cars throughout the race. And yeah, these top guys are all phenomenally fast drivers. Just some of them are more phenomenally fast than others. But yeah, a great display there from TJ. Only 20 seconds off the lead at the moment, after a very, very long race. I'm underway for 1 hour and 21 minutes. 56 laps completed, and Yoni Casilla is about to come across the line, make that 57 or 56 laps completed.
Yeah, and the only real moments that the drivers can relax is when they take the pit stops. But then once that 10-second timer elapses, they need to get going if they're not repairing damages or any of that business. So yeah, it's just been breakneck speeds for over 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, I think Yoni took almost a second out of Number that lap. Remarkable end of race pace. Rick Cardle is matching pace with Number. I think in terms of being safe from behind, I think he's safe from TJ. So I think the gap's just too big, and TJ has other worries in the form of the 2 Brazilian drivers.
Yeah, Sergeant Stadenko will be next to move aside for TJ.
Trotter made it into 7th. He made it past Unite.
Yeah, that's happened fairly recently, yeah.
Unite was trying to close up to the back of Veloso, but obviously some error has happened there because he's quite a way back. So he'll be kicking himself a little bit for that, I think.
Yeah, it's just a heavy disappointment. But you just have to try again.
Meanwhile, Mandula is about to go a lap down. It's never fun when you feel like you're on pace to go a lap down to the leader, but no hard feelings, honestly. Yoni Casilla is such a force. But yeah, to have lapped everyone except the top 10, that is a feat. And there we go. Now everyone except the top 9 has been lapped as Mandula goes a lap down on Yoni Casilla.
Yeah, well, they can enjoy, in inverted commas, enjoy watching the superior driver at work for today. Everybody is in Eoin's shadow. So we'll see if Mandula will carry on doing his best for the remaining laps. The drivers are all fairly spread out. It's more the cases where one driver wants to compete to get their lap back, or they need to be lapped. I'm just looking out for it. So we're on board with Will Lehman now. He can only hope to catch TJ, bring out the very best that he's got in the remaining laps. And with Sergeant Stadenko making it to the spectator room, we're down to just 24 runners. So that's nearly half the field. I have to say, yeah, fair play. He was 7 laps down on our race leader, and he carried on this far. So yeah, I can still say that's admirable job. I hope for better next time.
Rony has just a lap and a half to go in this race. The gap to Number is 9 seconds. And after Number went low on fuel for the start of the race and opted to pit on lap 28. A bit of a bold strategy. It just hasn't played off. Eoin just had the raw pace today, and even with more fuel in the car, Eoin was able to pull away.
Yeah, Number will just have to consider how quick Eoin was, and just maybe think about it for next time, see if that strategy can work for him again, or maybe he has to be a bit more like Catilla to emerge victorious in the Fox. So the battle for 4th is the hottest on the circuit. TJ and Lima are about 3 or 4 tenths apart. Yeah, 4 tenths of a second. There is a pair of drivers that need to be lapped, and that could throw these 2 drivers off when they need to be fully concentrated. Mandula's praying he wants to be unlapped by the race leader. He's like, let me go, I want to finish all the laps. But I'd say when you've performed the way Eoin has, yeah, he says no. Yeah, when you've performed an 11 out of 10 race, you just don't want to risk anything going wrong. So yeah, he's going to emerge now out of turn 11 into the final chicane, and probably still running that 5th gear we've seen him do. So here we are. Eoin Catilla wins RTFR at Fern Bay with a 1 hour 16 time around the track. So there we go. Mandula disappointed he won't be able to complete all 61 laps. Number has made it to P2. That should be a bronze medal for Ricardo there, yes. And there we go. 4th and 5th, TJ has done it. He's beaten those Energy Virtual Racing cars. Great performance there. Strutter is going to finish 7th. Sidus Unite 8th. Rando gets a 3rd. Fragmaster car into the top 10 with 9th. Mandula, as I said, 10th, but you'd be feeling a little shortchanged, being the first driver lapped. Ingatini, difficult middle part of the race, but he's made it to 11th. Rony, our host for RTFR, is 12th. Paolo makes it to 13th. Dante is 14th. Cmox has earned 15th position. Yeroloco, that's be 16th for him as he decides to do a rugby conversion kick with one of his opponents. And Team Soini finished 17th, so that should unlock all the remaining positions. Matthew Macari 18th, Redbot 19th. Jari Kitila, more disappointment on the opening lap for him, but he's endured and made it to the top 20. Platano, the final Fragmaster car, 21st. The Hamuli has done it for P22. Yaroslav Donalik, another driver who had to put up with misery and made it to the finish, 23rd. Mekatama is the final driver classified in 24th. He's 4 laps down. And Yoni makes it to the podium. So, what do you think, Pete?
Thanks for that rundown, Eoin. Yeah, Yoni pulls the car onto victory lane. A very deserved win. That was quite a show, wasn't it? Nearly 10 seconds ahead of number. A very experienced Fox driver. And yeah, what a show. Let's get the results on screen. The full standings for you for the race. So as Eoin mentioned, Johnny Kitila won in 1 hour, 16 minutes and 31 seconds. Number was 10 seconds behind. Then it was Rick Cardle, just inside the 15-minute mark. And then Mandula finished just outside the lead lap, 1 lap down in P10. And there are the rest of the top 20 runners as classified in this race. Let's head over to the second load of results. There are a lot of them, as we still have classified drivers. Platano, he finished P21, just outside the top 20. The Muli, Yaroslav Donalik, and MK Tama were the only drivers to actually make it to the finish. And then there are the rest of the 16 drivers who had to retire early. Some didn't even take the grid in the end. So that wraps up the coverage of the 4th round of Rony's Tuesday Fun Race Extra Large in 2021, the 52nd RTFR XL that's ever been.
Yeah, and it'll be a tantalizing wait for the next race, edition number 53. We'll see where that combination leads us to go.
Yes, and coming up on Sim Broadcasts in the next few days, we have some pretty exciting action coming up. So we will run through that right now. So yes, thank you for joining us for RTFR XL. That was a good race, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope the drivers enjoyed it, certainly, especially the top 24 that finished. Coming up tomorrow on Sim Broadcasts, we have round number 4 of the SMRC Esports Racing Spring Cup in iRacing at Brands Hatch Grand Prix in the Global Mazda MX-5 Cup. That is at 8 o'clock UTC +1. Then on Monday, we are headed back to the MRC GTR Monday coverage, round 6, at the same track we were at today, Fernbay Gold in the GT2s. That starts here at 19:30 UTC +1. And then Rony's Tuesday Fun Race, the regular edition, round 9 of 2021, returns on a to-be-confirmed combo on Tuesday, the 22nd of April. We hope you can join us for that. Thanks for carrying me in the commentary box tonight, Eoin. Really appreciate it. What did you... Final words on the race, please.
Yeah, so the qualifying session, we did see a wonderful array of drivers, almost toe for toe with one another. But the class of Joni Kitila shone through. He had his strategy that caught Number and Ricardo slightly blindsided. He got the job done with those extremely fast laps, and that was wonderful to see. And then we had other drivers that were very pleased with themselves. TJ is definitely the best of the rest for me. Got ahead of the EVR pair. Strutter will also have plenty to look back on fondly, and we had other drivers battling away. But I suppose the name of the game was to make it to the finish. So well done to everybody who did so, and then the other drivers who nearly made it, but were unfortunately just a few laps shy.
Thank you, Eoin. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thanks to the drivers. I'm Peter Butcher. He's been Eoin Harmon. You've been watching Sim Broadcasts. Hope to see you next time. Good night.
Bye-bye.